it coming into the actual business side of things, where I actually started running it. It was more so learn to manage your systems rather than your salesman. So if you can kind of transition into that and manage a system rather than the salesman, it's been a lot more beneficial for us. So.
Okay, what's going on? I'm excited for today's podcast. We have someone that is doing things a little bit differently. I don't think we've ever had anyone come on the show talking about this specifically. So I'm excited to welcome Adam Kremer on the show. Adam, thanks for joining us today on the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And we were talking just before we hit record, just you're doing some stuff with community solar, which I didn't really know that much. And then you're crushing it with really just systems, automations, things like that. A lot of us door knocking guys aren't as familiar with. So I'm excited to bring on, an expert like yourself and talk about some of that stuff. So yeah, do you want to just fill us in kind of on your background, how you got in solar, and I guess how you got to where you're at now?
Yeah, absolutely. So I used to be an electrician. I was actually building these solar fields. So we'd be putting together the solar fields, just putting thousands and thousands of panels out there. I had no idea what they were there for. One day I was just kind of poking around on jobs because I was always shopping Indeed. As in the trades, it was kind of just whatever's going to pay highest. So always shopping around, finally saw something that was for solar install, but they also had sales positions available. So kind of went through like the interview process with it, realized that I was kind of a huge fan of sales and actually like going in and trying it out. So I was like, whatever, I might as well shop around on Indeed a little bit more, and found a company that actually sold the energy from the solar fields. So I was like, well, it can't be a better fit. I already was building them. I already have the knowledge with them. Might as well start selling. And then it turns out it was knocking doors. So I was like, well, we'll try it out. I've never knocked doors before. Can't knock it until you try it. Literally, I guess.
Yeah.
So went out, and it was just a fly-by-night company. So 1 to 2 days of door training. And after that, it was throw you to the wolves and hopefully you don't sink. So from there, it was kind of figuring out my own pitch, my own voice, and my own systems while I went out there, and kind of just struggle bust through it, which ended up being a blessing for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so you're doing community solar, and I think I didn't really know myself, and I'm guessing a lot of listeners of the podcast maybe don't know really what that is. And a lot of people are probably like, wait, you're just selling the energy from it? I thought people just go sell solar panels. So can you explain for maybe the listeners that have never really heard about this model, like what is it and what's kind of the difference, I guess, just between your traditional solar guy that's out selling solar panels?
Yeah, a lot confuse it with like the deregulated energy. We're not deregulated. All that we do, if your audience is mainly solar, they're familiar with net metering. What community solar is, it's technically just virtual net metering. So the solar field would produce energy for the home, and in turn, anything the solar field produces is just knocked off the utility bill. So if we produce $100 worth of electricity, you no longer have to pay your utility $100, and you pay the solar field directly at a discounted cost, anywhere between like 5% and 20% discount. So it's a guaranteed savings for your customers. They're not actually investing in the solar field. It's as simple as them just opting in. If they opt in, receive the energy on their electric bill each month, and then get a guaranteed savings with optional cancellation at any point. So it's a pretty much just a baby step to help people go with renewable energy. Even if you're a renter, person with too much tree cover, bad roof pitch, whatever the case is, you still have an option to actually support renewable in the state.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And yeah, it seems like it'd be a no-brainer. I mean, especially if they can cancel at any point, it's like, why wouldn't you at least try that? And if you're getting it for less, it's green. It reminds me, I have a buddy that did like the trash sales. I don't know if you've heard about that, but he went door to door just selling people on like trash services, and all it was is just a trash service that was cheaper, like 30% cheaper than the main one that the city had. And so he's like, yeah, it's easy. We just go sell people on new trash, and I'm the trash guy. So it's like pretty
That's
similar.
awesome.
I'm like,
yeah,
so that's cool.
Just a walking coupon is all you are.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, it seems like it'd be a no-brainer. But yeah, do you typically get like a lot of objections? What are like objections you get from people if you're outdoor knocking? Like, it seems like it'd be almost no-brainer, but
yeah, the number one thing is that it sounds too good to be true. So when you're somebody coming to the doors, they've never met you, they've never heard of the product, they've never heard of the company. So it's really I've never heard of this. I don't know what it is. If it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. So that's going to be the number one thing. But as soon as you can get past that, there generally isn't a huge objection unless you're out in like farm country where they're a huge fan of the land out there, and they kind of get a little worried of sometimes the solar field coming in and taking the land that they have. But yeah, overall, the main one is just get past too good to be true, or talk to the wife.
Yeah, nice. Okay, sounds cool. And yeah, well, like, what about commissions? So you guys, I mean, I know you're not selling $30,000 systems like a lot of us in solar. So what does a guy typically make doing this? And I don't know, compared to like just the regular solar industry, do you think this is like higher potential, lower potential, or similar? What would you say?
Yeah, so it really depends. I mean, with community solar, the nice thing compared to rooftop is you're not waiting for that 1 to 4 month install time to get paid. So it's happening within 2 weeks. The average commission for reps is going to be right around that $200 to $300 per sale. Okay. So with it, we're knocking a lot of times. We do like condos, apartments, that sort of stuff. So we can knock 4 or 5 times the doors than most people that are in the neighborhoods, because you're not walking door to door to door. You take 2 steps and you're knocking another door. Yeah. So that helps quite a bit. It really depends on the rep, on how much they're getting out there and how well that they're selling it. But overall, it's very comparable to rooftop on the potential for it. But of course, you're not going to run into those sales that you're getting $15,000 commissions for.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense. What about, well, can you actually sell, say someone has solar on their house already, can you go sell someone with solar? And because they're still paying the utility typically for like, you know, connection and all that, and probably not producing all their energy. So can you knock someone that has solar and put them on this plan too?
Yeah. So the crazy thing in Colorado, I haven't seen it in other states, but in Colorado, we don't have like the meter fee, everything that can get discounted with community solar. And on top of that, we've signed up people that have a rooftop installation. And the net metering, or the virtual net metering that happens from community solar, is actually knocking off their gas bill as well. It's kind of beyond me on why XL Energy is fine with it, but their gas is getting discounted, and on top of that, their solar installations covering their electric. So we've actually had kind of a double whammy with it, where the solar companies, they sell them community solar and then also rooftop solar as well.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. That's fire. So really, yeah, I like that.
It's interesting.
You can knock like basically anywhere. Where with solar, it's like we have to be, I don't know, running around, especially in California nowadays, there's so many homes with solar. So sometimes you go to a neighborhood and you're only knocking 2 houses on that street because everyone else has solar, unless, you know, you're doing add-on systems. So I like that. That is unique for sure. Then you can just walk up to condos, apartments, and really sell everybody. But how do you know if someone is on this plan? Do you guys have like a customer map or something that shows, okay, this person's already on the plan, so I'm not going to hit this house? Or how do you keep track of that?
Yeah, so we use a pin drop, so you can see all the sales within the area. You can also see anybody that has come in with a lead. So we have a good mapping system on making sure that we're not knocking customers twice. But oftentimes we do try and knock our customers again, because if they've been on the program, number one thing is it's too good to be true. Yeah. So as soon as you go there, kind of get past that again and let them know, hey, you saw this isn't too good to be true. Let's get some referrals going, or at least send me over to the neighbors. So we do mark the sold pins, but we try to hit those again after we come back through. Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure you get a lot of people on this, like in neighborhoods. Do you guys do is it just any territory? Do you have to be pretty strategic with which territories you go to, or you just, I know you said you're kind of doing blitzes and all that. How do you decide which territories you're going to and things like that?
Yes. So we really don't have to be too picky. It's whatever demographic the rep is a fan of. I mean, we can hit the entire service territory of XL Energy, which is massive. And in pretty much every state, we have a grand majority of the state. So if you like talking to the richer neighborhoods, the more upbeat side of things, that's where you're going to have success. We kind of send people there. If you're a fan of the more of the hood style, you're more than welcome to go there. It's kind of up to the rep on what they choose, for sure.
Yeah. Well, and you said they can cancel at any time. So I'm curious, how do you guys prevent people from, or I'm sure that's not like a huge deal if they're getting it less, because I don't see why someone would cancel after, but do you run into that a lot of times where people cancel? And like, if, I don't know, say someone sells an account and they cancel in like 2 months, do you still get paid the commission, or how does that work? if they end up
So
canceling?
we do. Yeah, that's a good question. Super good question. So we actually there's a 2 month chargeback period. So if the customer cancels within 2 months, generally it's because the rep didn't do his job. But the only real reasons we have people cancel, because I mean, either way you're buying electricity, if now it's discounted, there's truly no reason to cancel. It's if they end up like moving out of the service territory. So like if they move out of state, they can't bring it with them. But other than that, that's really the only real reason people would cancel. Or if someone else knocks on their door and maybe has a higher savings, which generally isn't the case.
Okay. So yeah, that's another good point. Is there competing community solar companies that will come in and say, oh, we can give you like $10 less than this other company gave, or is that a thing, or do you guys like have the monopoly on this? Or?
It is a thing, but overall what we do is we actually are a brokerage. So we're like an energy brokerage for these companies. So we go out, we get multiple contracts within the state. We have all but two. The two we don't actually provide savings. So we pretty much just weigh out the options, see which ones are going to save the customer the most, and then help them get it connected to that. So we're usually the ones that get people off and put them on a higher savings.
Okay.
compared to vice versa. But yes, it does happen for sure.
Okay, cool. Because like in solar, for example, in San Diego where I'm at, there's a lot of people that are like the energy brokers. But you know how it is. You're gonna sell the thing that also pays out a good amount too. You know, like people sell a lot of these power purchase agreements in California, not because they're usually the best thing for the customer. They're usually not, but the commissions are usually really good on them. So is there anything that compares that? Is there like one thing that people will sell, oh, I'm going to make a ton off of this, but maybe it's not saving the customer quite as much? Is that a thing? Or is it pretty much where you're going to give the customer the best deal and you get paid the same regardless?
Yeah, overall it's a fairly similar commission structure for every program. So we try to keep the customers, at least they keep their benefit as our best interest. So that's generally the route that we go. But I mean, there is some that just have like a speedier enrollment. We do a lot of events. So when we go to like a home show or something where we're sitting at a booth and it's just insane traffic to get people through, we'll go to what one's going to enroll people the fastest. Just at least we can kind of get through everyone.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's cool. You mentioned home shows. How much of your lead gen is door knocking versus maybe these home shows or other methods? What do you guys do as far as lead gen? Is it mostly door knocking, or what else do you guys do besides that?
Yeah, so I would say door knocking is the grand majority, but that's because we do that year round. For like the home shows and that sort of stuff, there's kind of a season with it. Once we're just getting into that season now, so it's like the beginning of the year, the spring home shows, as people are kind of, let's get some stuff done to our house. So once we get into that time, I would say it's maybe 50% of the leads are actually coming from these shows, but Colorado's huge on those. So I mean, they have quite a bit of activity when it comes to the shows on the weekends. But yeah, once we get into the actual summer months, it's just hunker down, let's go knock some doors. So then it pretty much turns into solely door knocking. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. And something you mentioned before, Adam, before we started the podcast, you said that I think you guys have partnered with a few solar companies to actually get them solar if they're interested in doing solar themselves. So how does that work? Do you guys have like a second sell where as they're signing up, you're kind of saying, hey, well, if you're also interested in panels, here's this, or tell me about that. What do you guys do to like introduce them to some of the partnerships you have with actual solar companies?
Yeah, so the partnerships that we actually have gone to like people that are doing rooftop solar, and they sell our programs as well. So they'll go to the doors just because the sheer number of utility bills and the amount of sales that you can get with community solar is significantly higher. So they'll go to the doors and actually pitch community solar. And once they get into the door and kind of frame themselves as the expert, they start going through the electric bill and making sure that rooftop solar, of course, will be a good fit. And I mean, I'm sure since you've been in the solar industry, you can kind of look at the bill and somewhat calculate what the savings would be or what the system size would be. Right. So just by looking at it, just at least popping the question, I know that, of course, you can see how much savings is going to be with a free program. Would you be open-minded to at least kind of going through the numbers on what it'd be like if you made the investment? Because, of course, if we can do this for free, just imagine what you're able to get if you're putting the money forward. So they kind of just roll into it and then set up that second touch for that meeting, but at least sign them up for community solar at the meantime. So you have that guaranteed commission, and then you come back and they're doing that second meeting to actually go through the numbers on what rooftop would look like, which here we pair the two together. They're selling community solar and then also putting them on the rooftop installation. So either way, they're going to put them on community, and then that second touch is where they just go to close it.
Okay, yeah, it's super interesting. And then as far as like your teams and all that go, is it pretty traditional door to door? You guys just have a big team of people going out, and how do you do like daily meetings? What does your team structure look like in your company? And all that?
Yeah, super good question. So we generally do 2 meetings a week, just doing it over Zoom. And then we have if we have a group that we knock with every single day, but it's not required that you come to it. So if you want to go knock on your own, kind of be a lone wolf, go for it. If that's kind of how you get motivated. If you like to be in a group, you're more than welcome to come out, and we can just kind of take over an entire neighborhood with people. So it's really open. We like to keep it open because when I first started, I liked being the lone wolf, but I understand that people like that company culture. They like actually being connected and consistently having a group that they see every day. So whatever helps you get the most sales and whatever helps you be comfortable with the job, I'm good with.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, yeah, as you can tell, I've never really heard anything about this, so I was super curious to know how it works, how traditional it was compared to regular door knocking, all that. But yeah, tell me about. Do you guys get a lot of competition from do you get your reps poached by like solar companies, or do you get guys from solar companies that maybe sucked at selling solar that come sell with you guys, or is that what's like your correlation with regular solar, and what do you think of just like traditional solar guys?
Yeah, I mean, so far we haven't had anybody that's been taken over to the rooftop side of things. It has been vice versa, though. There has been guys that were selling rooftop, and they kind of transitioned over into this just because I don't know if they were just a fan of it being an easier sell, or what the huge deal was. But they've been crushing it compared to like people that just kind of started brand new. So it's kind of a mix. But mainly we've been taking people from rooftop companies for sure.
Okay. Well, yeah, I can imagine, especially maybe someone because that's the one new recruits ask me sometimes, like, hey, was there any downside to this? Like, because I'm telling them all this money you can make. And so when they ask me to tell them, I usually just say, well, hey, the one downside is it can take a little while to get paid out. It takes a minute to get things rolling. And there is a steeper learning curve with solar, I'd say, than other door-to-door industries, other things you'd sell, especially if you're just coming in trying to close. I think it's gotten easier now where people can just come up and set up leads and get paid that way. But yeah, there's so many guys, unfortunately, and that's hopefully you don't see it as much, but just the turnover in solar, if guys are trying to transition from setting to closing, it can be brutal. And it's one of the headaches of solar, just seeing so many guys start and stop just because they're not seeing the success that they want, unfortunately. But yeah, how is that for you guys? Do you see much turnover in this, or do you find that it's easier to sell? Guys are getting paid quicker, so it's typically easier to kind of retain guys and everything?
Yeah, I mean, the door-to-door industry as a whole has a high turnover rate for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I think on average, just door-to-door is just as an industry has a 15% retention rate because people come in. I mean, they have high hopes, and of course, a lot of the recruiters are selling everything really hard for them just to get them on board with it, and then they get on, and rejection's tough for a lot of people. Yeah. So getting rejected that many times in a day, it's really tough. So it ends up having low retention rates, but ours isn't terrible, and with it, I think ours is just over 15. I think we were at like 17% retention. So not too bad, but yeah, we still have that high turnover, but a lot of it is just, they can't really handle the rejection within the first 2 weeks. I mean, if they last after the first 2 weeks, we're pretty good, but being brand new to door, which most people are when we recruit, it's pretty tough to retain people that way. But the rooftop companies we plugged into, they've seen an increase in retention just because the reps are able to get paid a lot sooner now. They're not waiting for that big payout at the end. They aren't doing the setter closer models though. So I know with the setter models, you at least can get paid just as a setter. But this helps significantly on that side of things too.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, cool, man. Well, I want to transition before we're out of time. I want to segue into just some of the stuff you're doing with, systems you organize, CRMs and automation, stuff like that. Cause I know you're really well known and have helped a lot of guys in that area. So tell me about, how did you get into this whole like automations? How did you get in that whole side of thing and into the stuff you're doing with that?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, when I first started, I mean, it was with the fly by night company, 2 days of
Okay.
door knocking. So, I mean, it was literally the first day I'm out there with like a notebook, writing down names so I can send out emailed information, all this sort of stuff. Had no idea what was going on with it. And it's just slowly developed into, oh, there's such thing as a CRM. That's crazy. And then it's like, oh, you can actually automate this instead of me sending the exact same email, click, 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 click. So from there, it kind of snowballed into hopping onto a system. We actually just have our Go High Level, we like white labeled one, and setting up the automations and just streamlining literally every single process. Because
Nice.
they say don't make the same money twice. But I'm also a firm believer on don't do the same work twice.
Yeah.
If you have to do it twice, that more than likely you're able to automate it. So why not?
Yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, like I said in the beginning, a lot of door knocking guys aren't taking advantage of this. And I know for my first 3-4 years in solar, I didn't like care if I got a lead, if I didn't close them, they were just written on a pad of paper somewhere and thrown in the trash after like a month or two. And that was it. And so I lost so many leads just by not keeping track of them. Where if I would have put them in a CRM like this, organize them, I mean, I'm sure you can talk to this, but there's so many opportunities for, repeat customers in solar. You got add-on systems you can do. You got referrals you can get from your past customers. Like, and I don't even really know my first 2 years in solar. I don't even remember who my customers were because I didn't even my company kept track of them, but then I switched companies and then I didn't even bother to like get those customers. So now knowing what I know and hearing from guys like yourself, it's like, yeah, I'm kind of kicking myself that I didn't keep track of all that. But yeah, so what do you guys use HighLevel for? And yeah, what are some, I don't know, what would you say are just some advantages of keeping track of stuff like that? And how has it helped you guys in your business?
Yeah. So I mean, to touch on your point of following up with people, I mean, we're doing pretty much the same pitch every time you're going to the door. So if you're going to keep the pitch the same, I mean, the big reason is just to dial it in. So if you're going to keep the pitch the same, you might as well keep the follow up the same.
Yeah.
So with it, it's helped us significantly because right now I think we follow up with 800 customers weekly. So we're touching base with them without even having to lift a finger. So by doing that, nobody's falling through the cracks. Even if they said potentially send us some information. I mean, for the next 180 days, we have proof of opt-in. So we're going to consistently be touching base with them, and it's been right about 25% of our sales have been coming from our automation. So where all that the knockers have to do is worry about closing deals. That's what they're paid to do, and that's where they get paid. So instead of having them to worry about follow up, they come in, do their thing, get the leads, and then after that, it's pretty much the system's going to take care of it up until we actually spark that conversation. They can get on a call, have that scheduled, or just hop on a call with them real quick and get that closed up. So
Yeah.
for us, I mean, to add, I mean, if we weren't doing automation, to actually add 25%, 25% more sales at least, that's incredible. It's insane. So it's been a huge help for us, and not having to have our guys be sitting there doing their own thing if they even do. Because I'm sure in door to door, just sales in general, people they're not generally doing follow up. So at least make sure that it gets done and done the same way. It's been a huge help.
Yeah, 100%. Well, and how important, because like you said, a lot of door to door guys aren't doing any of this. And sounds like you're kind of just the guy at your company running it. So would you say it's important for just like your typical sales rep to get into this stuff or to know the basics around it? Or do you think, speaking to maybe like solar company owners or guys that that manage teams or whatever, have you found it better to just like get a guy like yourself that kind of puts the systems in place, runs it and stuff, and then like guys just go out and sell? Or what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely a lot better to have the owner, the actual entire company hop onto it. The reason for that is you're able to look at the numbers at scale. So, I mean, as your messages are going out, you can read the metrics on what's getting you replies. You can see what's not getting replies, what's getting people to schedule, and you can kind of dial it in. So a lot of it's just like marketing. I mean, you have to split test. You constantly have to be changing up the messages just to be seeing what's actually working. But the more messages you get sent out, of course, the better the metrics are going to be. It's going to be a lot easier for you to dial it in. So if you do it as an entire company, it becomes a lot easier to figure out what's going to be hitting your customers, especially if everybody's using the same pitch or similar.
Yeah. Okay. And then say it's someone you're following up with, a rep has a lead that they got, I don't know, 3 months ago, and now you convert this lead into a customer. How does that, do you guys just pay out like a percentage to the rep that got their lead in the first place, or do you give it to them when they say they're interested, or how does that work? If it's their lead?
Yeah. Yeah, good question. So our system and how it's set up is it's following up as, so you go to the door when you actually put them in as a lead and the automation is running, it's consistently saying that, hey, this is Taylor. This is Taylor just checking in with you guys. Of course, not actually just checking in, but just kind of building the value. It's putting your name behind it, and it's consistently seeming as if it's you texting them or you that's actually sending out the emails. And when the replies come in or when they look to schedule, it's always going to be your calendar link, or it's always going to be your phone that those messages are going to. So when a customer says, hey, yeah, give me a call tomorrow at 11, your only responsibility is put them on your calendar tomorrow at 11. So the messages get sent out as you, and then of course the replies are coming as you as well.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. That's cool. And then do they get like the full, if it's from your system, would you give them like the full commission after that, even though you're following up, or how does that work?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. We don't cut down commission for the automations. They're in place so that they don't have to do the follow-up. My mentality with it is if we start taking more of a commission for our system closing them, they're going to take it into their own hands. And I don't feel it as though it would be as effective considering we've dialed it in as much as we have.
Okay. That's good. Cool. And well, just speaking from my experience, and a lot of guys that I know have tried and failed to set up these systems and go, because I had a HighLevel account too. I've got it better now, but the first year I had my HighLevel account, I just got a login. I didn't really know what I was doing. And I just saw all these, shiny buttons and all that. And I didn't know how to set up automations. So like guys that are trying to set it up, how did you like learn all this? And was it just like tests after tests to figure out what worked? Because a lot of guys are going to get this. They're like, oh, cool, HighLevel, let's go try it out. They'll go get a login, then they'll have no idea what to do with it. And they're going to be like, oh, this sucks. It doesn't work. And then that's the end of it. So like, what would you say to those guys? How did you actually like figure out all these systems and know what to do to set all this up correctly?
Yeah. So I have my YouTube degree in getting YouTube degrees. So,
Nice.
So that's helped significantly. I have hours and hours into learning the systems and kind of just diving into it. There's insane amount of forums online for this sort of stuff. And if like with ours, if you get someone that's actually white labeled, if you don't plan on taking the system, building it, flipping it, and doing like software as a service, which ends up being quite a bit, that's not your main goal with it, I generally recommend just going with somebody who already has that software that can already give you the systems that are in place. Because there's quite a few of them out there, including ours, that you come in and they already give you the automations, they give you the pipeline management. And on top of that, we do a full like video course that goes through step by step every single section that's on HighLevel. Because I'm sure once you open it up, there's so many options on what you can do.
Yeah.
It's endless. You could be in there for weeks and not get through everything. So we do just full video course to make sure that you kind of understand what every single tab is. So if you get a white label, just try and get one that actually has a course that goes along with it so that you can kind of understand what's going on with it.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I would recommend 100%. Because for me, I didn't know what I was doing until I got a white labeled one and had the support there. I would say that's important too. If you're going to get a white label one, make sure there's some decent support around it. Because I had one that I tried, didn't have much support, and then now I'm currently using CRMX, which I know a lot of solar guys have heard. Brant Attaway, he set up his, probably something similar to yours. But yeah, do you offer yours as a white label then for guys who are interested or maybe want more help with this? Do you have yours as a white label if people want to get in on it?
Yeah, absolutely. We help. We have it set up for the rooftop systems, and then also once we actually have the community solar, depending on the state, we open that as an option as well for people to kind of have that plug and play, which also comes with automations too. So yeah, we do have both.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll post a link, and at the end, we'll tell guys how they can learn more about that if they're interested. But just speaking on more of a basic level, because I know maybe some people listening to this are like, okay, whatever, I don't care. We have a marketing guy to go set this up. So if we're speaking on just more like a basic level, maybe it's a rep who's at a company who doesn't have this, but they just want to start like some basic follow-up. And maybe start on a small scale, what would you say, what are like some important, I don't know, touch points or follow-up secrets that you would say that have worked to get someone who is just like, oh, we're interested, but we don't want to like actually sit down, set an appointment? What do you guys do from there? And what are some effective things that you would tell to like a guy that's new with this stuff?
Yeah, I would say someone who's new with it is if you at least have some automation behind a calendar is going to be the biggest thing. If you're just a rep and you're not actually going out to like buy a full system, because I mean, just as a rep, it's going to be fairly expensive if you're just running it yourself. But at least having a calendar that's going to have some automation and put them into a full database for you. So you're always keeping track of any leads that you have, and then also you're having the calendar automation. So at least it's going to follow up with them and give them those text reminders, so you can at least up your appointment show rate, which is going to be huge for you.
Yeah. Okay. What about, because some people are hardcore against like, you know, texting guys and stuff. It's in solar, because especially in saturated areas, sometimes you text people and they're like, you know what? No, just forget about it. And so like, do you guys always text your appointments, or I don't even know, do you guys set appointments, or is this pretty much just get to the door and close them for the community solar stuff?
Yeah, we do set appointments. Our model is it's either we close them at the door, or if you want information, you have to set an appointment. So that no matter what, I mean, we kind of just fill our calendars with the times that we're not knocking, and then we just keep the door knocking open. For the text reminders, we leave those as optional. So we do ask the customer, hey, do you want text reminders on this? If they say yes, well, of course, then they're going to be interested. They're going to want those sent out. If they say no, they don't even want the text. So it's helped significantly going that route, because then you leave it to the customer. If they get a text, they're not going to tell you no because they asked for it.
Yeah. Okay. And then if someone just like no shows their appointment, like, hey, we're busy, come back, we're interested, but come back, and then they're not there, which happens all the time in, residential solar. Then I've forgotten about a ton of those leads myself. Then I'll go back in that same neighborhood 3 months later, they'll have solar on their house, which drives me nuts. I'm like, man, should have followed up. But yeah, what do you guys do with those cases where it's like they no showed you, or they just kind of ghosted you for a minute? What type of, like, I don't know, follow up or sequence do you do with those people if it's something like that?
Yeah, so I mean, we have a full nurture that we've had set up, so it's going to continuously touch base with them every single week. It's just kind of an evergreen thing that regardless the messages, whether it's today or a year from now, messages are still gonna be true. So we have that just consistently touch base. We've pulled people from. I actually just last week had somebody that we talked to in July that had just kind of revived that conversation. We got those ones closed up. So we just have something set up so that no matter what, every single week they're going to be getting a text message. It could be as simple as, hey, how's your schedule looking this week? Or what piqued your interest? Was it the renewable side, the taking away from the monopolies, or saving money? And just kind of having that text nurture in place to consistently remind them that, hey, I'm still here, still happy to talk with you, and then kind of bring a little value to the table at the same time. So that's been a huge help on those ones that are no shows. But I mean, if you're in the neighborhood and you knock on the door, you're saying where you knock and they're like, hey, come back at 6. Is that what ones?
Yeah, well, just like you set up an appointment and then they no show you. And then just like, I don't know, I struggle with just knowing what to do after that. Like if I should text them to follow up, I text them twice and they didn't respond. So I don't know if you guys text them personally, or it's just like every evergreen sequence you put them in, if it's stuff like that where they no show you.
Yeah. Generally it's we do up front. It's going to be a little more aggressive follow up. So I mean, it's going to be like once every 2 days or once every 3 days after that appointment. We do that for roughly 20 days, and then after that, then they go on to the evergreen nurture. So we just make sure that we're right when they're interested. We're hammering them with that follow up if they didn't show, just to kind of get that appointment sparked back up again. Always providing value first is going to be huge within it. So making sure that you're not, hey, I'm just checking in, or just wanted to bump this email up for you. It's always giving them more information, giving them another video to watch, giving them something else that's actually going to build that value to get them sparked into, hey, yeah, let's get this appointment rolling again. And then after that, yeah, if it's still no contact after 20 days or 21 days, then yeah, we'll bump them right into that nurture and just continuously have that on repeat for them, so that even when that next guy knocks on the door that probably got them solar you saw 3 months later, when he knocks on the door, they still remember, hey, I have this other option. We should probably double check and make sure we get another quote.
Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. Well, yeah. And there's a lot of stuff to this. So if people are listening right now being like, wow, this is overwhelming, this is way too much. Number one, just start small. I always recommend guys that are new to like follow-up stuff and, CRM. I think the best way to start is Rep Card. I don't know if you've used that, Adam, but I think it's good for just door-to-door guys looking for simple kind of, mass text they can send out, and helps you organize stuff. And then step two, if you want to get more into this stuff like Adam's talking about, get like a white labeled, high level account, and you can start setting this up, because really it's just overwhelming if you try to keep track of all this on pen and paper and think, okay, I'm going to set a reminder on my phone to follow up with Steve, Jason, and Adam like 3 months down the road. Like, you just forget, and it's really, you shouldn't be spending time doing it. Like I would be way too overwhelming to send out all these yourself. So I think it's important to have a system in place and get some of this going. Would you agree with that, Adam?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. Well, cool, man. And then last question or two I wanted to ask you before we wrap up here. I don't know how important referrals are for you guys, but do you have any systems around referrals, or what do you guys do to get more referrals and increase business that way?
Yeah. On the doors, we have a great method that I kind of snagged from Cutco. We actually bring a sheet of paper with us. It has about 20 to 30 names that's on it. When we go to the doors after we sign them up, it's like, awesome, you've seen the value in this. I'm sure you know other people that are interested in saving, or other people that are interested in the renewable aspect of things. Would you be open to at least sharing some friends and family? And if they say, yeah, we just pull out that sheet, because if you have 20 to 30 names on a sheet, no one's going to put down one. Because of course you have a massive list that's there. So we put that in front of them, say, hey, we have this sheet. If you just want to put down some friends and family on it, the most that I've ever had is 18. And then you at least kind of spark that competition within them, that, hey, can you beat 18? Is that something that you can do? And then we also do a referral bonus on each one. So letting them know that this is not only beneficial for the people that you put down, but also for you, because you're going to get the bonus on top of it. So we run it that way. And then after our customers start saving, the solar fields actually produce electricity, they're saving money. We do run some automated referral campaigns, just at least to kind of spark up a conversation to get some more.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I love that Cutco method. Those Cutco guys are good at that, but almost all the
it's
top
insane.
Roads, just that sheet of paper. It's just like when they see all those names, like, oh wow, okay, this isn't a big deal. Everyone's doing it. And it's almost like the bandwagon effect for referrals. So I love it.
Exactly. Yeah, you see a ton on there. It just blows people's mind. They're like, well, yeah, I guess I have to put down at least 6. Like,
yeah, I know. That works well. Well, awesome, Adam. Well, it's been awesome having you on today and share about some of these things that we haven't really talked about on the show. So appreciate you coming on. And so before we wrap up here, if guys do want to get in your, get access to your high level stuff, or just, learn more, connect with you, what's the best way to do that and reach out to you?
Yeah, Facebook or Instagram are phenomenal ways. I have quite a bit of information on both those as well. Pretty active on there. So Facebook is just Adam Kremer, and then it's Kremer, and then same with Instagram, it's just Adam_Kremer. So more than welcome to connect there.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks again for coming on. And then any last words of advice, or anything you wish you knew starting out in this industry that you would pass on to other reps before we say goodbye here, Adam?
I mean, overall, coming into the actual business side of things, where I actually started running it, it was more so learn to manage your systems rather than your salesman. So if you can kind of transition into that and manage a system rather than the salesman, it's been a lot more beneficial for us. So that's my main takeaway.
Okay. Love that. So yeah, always much easier, and I think much more effective to manage systems than just running around with your head cut off trying to manage all these things. So master the systems, it'll make business much easier. And Adam, thanks again for coming on the show, and hopefully we can have you on in the future someday and hear even more. But I appreciate you coming on, brother.
Heck yeah, I appreciate it.
Okay. All right, we'll talk soon.